Hey, what's up, people? It's T is True. It's been a little while, so I'm trying to get back into it. Been a little bit busy last few weeks or so, but we're 2 months away from next gen, and of course now we know the full launch lineups pretty much for both systems. And the general vibe around the internet circles, around the hardcore gaming community, is that both systems have a subpar launch lineup, right? It doesn't have any killer app. It doesn't have anything that really screams next gen. It just generally is subpar, the launch lineups. And I mean, I don't know. I'm always pretty amazed when I hear that. I got the launch lineups up right now, just on my computer here, so you guys can see. But I mean, I kind of call BS on that a little bit, right? Now, everybody, obviously evaluating a game is subjective, right? I mean, everyone's going to have their own opinion. That's fine. Sony and Microsoft's job is to give as many options across, as many genres and just have more options, right? And I think that both companies did a really good job of that. And when you think about the actual games that we have coming, it's just crazy to me. Granted, again, is there a Halo? Is there a Super Mario 64 caliber game? I probably not, right? But I just think it's crazy to sit there and say that it's subpar. Okay, let's look at the lineup. Let me start with the PlayStation 4 side on the right hand side here, right? I just want to say something. Like, just look at it. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Okay, I have never played Assassin's Creed, honestly. I touched on a little bit of 2, I think it was. And then I finally bought 3 because I'm a big history buff and I thought the American Revolution context would be great. And I always was very curious about the series. Now, let's remind ourselves, Assassin's Creed is one of the best-selling franchises of this past generation. Okay? It was a new IP for, the 360 and PS3. When the first one came out. Brand new IP from Ubisoft, great, potential. I don't think anyone expected that the franchise would be milked or, just have so many entries, after we saw the first one. But I mean, there's been, 6 technically entries into it. This would be the 7th. So, or maybe this would be the 6th, somewhere around there. There's been a lot of entries, but this series is still alive, right? I mean, I think people were disappointed in 3. Me having not played 1 and 2, I thought 3 was okay. Again, I thought that they did a good job of just making the world dense and really honing into that history, making that history very prevalent in the game, which I thought was cool. It wasn't a stellar game, it wasn't the greatest game, but I thought it was solid. But a lot of people that were fans of the series said it was pretty poor. I really wasn't looking at Assassin's Creed 4. It wasn't personally on my radar until more recently. Gamescom packs, people played the game and just really was just saying it was, especially on the next gen version, PS4 version, that it was really looking good. Technically, it was looking good. It definitely was pushing something beyond what the PS3 can do. And what they plan to do for that version, I guess. And that, pirates, the pirate theme would be cool. We've never seen a game really set in the Caribbean like that. So that should be cool. And I'm just, now I'm pretty gung ho about it. I think it's been just such favorable review, and Ubisoft has been doing a great job of promoting it as well. I mean, it seems like almost every day or every other day there's a new video showing everything, new features, new actual gameplay, and it looks pretty good, right? So the point here, though, is that it wasn't that long ago that having the Assassin's Creed launch in the fall of that year was a major event, right? I mean, when Assassin's Creed 2 was coming out, that was a major event. When Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Revelations came out, those were major events. Those were considered major launches in the fall. The fact that we have this is not a port, right? I mean, Assassin's Creed 4 is not like Assassin's Creed 4 came out months or a year before on the old, current gen systems, and now we're just getting another rehashed, polished up port of those versions, which happened a lot in past launches, right? This is a brand new Assassin's Creed 4 that was built with next gen in mind, and it's coming out pretty much, at the same time as the current gen version. So it's just great to have an Assassin's Creed game. It says a lot that they were able to have a full Assassin's Creed game at launch, and it looks pretty good. Battlefield 4, again, another game, full game that was built with next gen in mind. and that will be available at launch. Again, Battlefield 3 was a major event. That game sold over 15 million units. This is not like Smuggler's Run, right, from the PlayStation 2 launch. This isn't King Kong from the Xbox 360 launch, okay? This is a major release, okay? Now, part of the reason why a lot of people are putting games like Assassin's Creed and Battlefield and Call of Duty, which is coming up, down, is just that they're saying that it isn't anything really exclusive about the next-gen versions, right? Because yeah, it might be better than the current gen versions, which they will be, but then they're also coming out on the PC, and then you got that PC elitist crowd that's like, oh, well, I got, the super powerful GeForce Titan level PC, so I can get a much superior experience, over what the next gen consoles will give me. And I can say a whole lot about that. First of all, it's not a given that just because the graphics or the frame rate is higher that you're getting a better experience. The gameplay experience next gen is going to be about a lot more than just the graphics. Okay? Personally, for me, if you took the PlayStation 3 version of a game, take like The Last of Us, which is in and of itself is a great game, and you took that and put it on the PlayStation 4 and just up-res it to 1080p and increase the frame rate to 60 frames, and gave me that PS4 DualShock 4 controller over the relatively crappy DualShock 3 controller, it's going to be a better experience. Now, granted, if I already played it on the PS3, that's not worth $60. But again, I haven't played Assassin's Creed 4 yet. I haven't played Battlefield 4 yet. I haven't played Call of Duty Ghosts yet, right? So saying that, it's a good thing that these games are on the docket for a launch of these systems, as well as having it on the PC for that crowd, as well as having it on the current gen. The reason why is because they want as many people as possible to be able to play these games, and that's not a bad thing. So is it incentive to say, okay, you're going to shell out $400 for just Assassin's Creed 4 when you can play it? If you don't really care about the new technology or whatever, you can't play it on your current Xbox 360 or PS3? Of course not. No. Why would you spend $400, $500 on a brand new system for that game when you can play that already in your current box, right? If you do have a high-end gaming PC, yeah, you can play it on there as well, right? So you wouldn't be looking at these systems. These systems are targeting the people that are the early adopters, I'll say. The hardcore early adopters for these systems are people that already are devout, hardcore PS3 and 360 owners, and probably have been for years, right? These aren't late adopters. These aren't people that bought a 360 last year or 2 years ago, right? Or a PS3 last year. These are people that have been playing PS3 probably for at least half, if not more, of its life cycle over the last, probably the last at least, 3 to 4 years, at least 3 to 4 years, if not the whole time, like myself. And you pretty much experienced that system, and you want to step up. You're already into the console space, right? The early adopters are not people that are already gaming on a GeForce Titan. Because if you're gaming on a GeForce Titan and you invested over $1,000 basically into your PC to game on, then you probably prefer that than a console, if you even play on a console at all. So you're not going to be lining up day one to get these systems, and that makes sense that Sony and Microsoft know that. And why would you, right? I mean, that's where you prefer the game and you put your money into that, and that's your prerogative, right? These systems are competing not against the PC, they're competing against their predecessors, right? They're competing against the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. Okay, so when you look at these launch games, the question isn't, is this the best experience, best graphics, best technology that I can get for these games anywhere? Because that's not true. But guess what, guys? It really never has been true. If you think back to the Nintendo, Genesis, Super Nintendo era, the arcade was at that point, technically speaking, the best place to game. Okay, that's where you saw the most innovation. That's where you saw, the best play experiences, right? You could not get Daytona USA or Virtual Fighter experience, or even whatever, the Ninja Turtles. I mean, everything just looked and played better in the arcade at the time. All right, that's just what it was. Okay, so It never was the case, and then later on in the 90s, probably with the N64, PlayStation 1, the PC was really starting. We started getting DirectX and discrete GPUs. So, you couldn't play Unreal 1 and Unreal 2 and Quake, 2 and 3, those kind of games. You couldn't get that on the console. Right? So console never was technically the best technical place to play games. Right? But they still thrived, and they still garnered, bigger sales, honestly, than the PC for a reason. And that reason still remains, because the game experience is about a lot more than just the graphics, just the physics, just the number of transistors. It's about a lot more than that. These next-gen systems are bringing a lot more to the table than just updated graphics. It is true that the graphics have not been updated as much as previous generations, and there's a reason for that. Economical reasons, practical reasons, but also, the diminishing returns were starting to hit. A lot of people are still perfectly content with the graphics in current gen. I mean, sure, they might take a little bit more polish, but the success of the Wii and, just look at the forums. You don't hear the average gamer, not the PC elitist guy, right? But the average gamer is not complaining about the graphics on Xbox 360 or PS3. They're not. They don't notice that the games are running at 25, they're dropping frames at 25 frames per second and not running at 30 or 60. They don't notice that stuff, and they don't care, okay? These systems are going to enhance the graphics, sure. Maybe not to the degree that we're used to, okay. But just like I said earlier, the enhanced control, especially on the PlayStation 4 side, because the DualShock 3 was crappy, honestly, in a lot of ways. So being able to just have a comfortable controller, touchpad that can add some stuff, better analog sticks, better triggers, can make so world of difference. I mean, games like MotorStorm and Killzone were literally, negatively affected by the DualShock 3. It just wasn't the best controller for those game experiences, right? So we're going to get that. We're going to get, faster operating system, better integrated social features that Steam cannot match. Okay, there have been games in the PC that didn't even have a social ecosystem and community, because of the infrastructure issues and just how separate it is and stuff like that. I game on my PC. I have a 7970, but other than Battlefield 3, I don't play online a whole lot, and I have not a single friend on Steam. I mean, it's just not it's not the environment that I want to do that in. It doesn't feel, the experience just isn't as good as it is on my console. And again, granted, the PS3, the community is not great either, right? I mean, Microsoft definitely won that battle, but it's going to be a lot better than PS4, and that's really one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to. I know the graphics is going to be better, we know that, but I mean, being able to actually interface and interact with friends while you're playing a game, outside the game, while you're in the menu, out when you're not even near your PlayStation 4 with the companion apps, and being able to do that remotely from your Vita or your smartphone or whatever. I mean, that's all stuff that is going to fundamentally change. When we get used to this a year from now, we're going to wonder how we played without this stuff. We're going to be so used to, being able to leave the house and pick up your smartphone and interact with your game or interact with your friends. See what your friends broadcasted. See how your friends beat a level and comment on it. The same way we do with Twitter now, right? Or Facebook now. That's going to be powerful stuff. Being able to video chat, and have Skype sessions like on Xbox while you're in the middle of the game. Being able to, right now, it can take 20 minutes when I want to play a game on my PlayStation 3 before I can get into the game, because it has to download a new patch, and then it has to. Sometimes it's for real. I've timed it. It can literally take 20 minutes sometimes to get into a game. So just being able to turn on your box and have the instant resume. Patches are already pre-downloaded. Games sometimes are pre-downloaded, and you're just ready to go. I mean, this is stuff that, putting all this stuff together, I mean, it's going to make a difference. The Kinect is going to make a difference on the Xbox One. Being able to use voice control, and just for the system navigation. People keep talking about the games. The games are going to come, but just interfacing with the system is going to be so much more powerful, and it's going to enhance our game experience. People just need to keep that in mind. It's not about the graphics. Right, so would I rather play Assassin's Creed 4 on the PlayStation 4 than PlayStation 3, even if the PlayStation 4 version ran at 720p as well, and probably hopefully at least 60 seconds. 60 FPS? I would say yes, right? Because again, I know that I'm gonna have a better social experience, better second screen experience, much better controller to play it on. Just a better user experience with the enhanced UI and the faster UI, and it's ultimately going to be an overall better experience, even over the PC, right? So I mean, it doesn't, so there's a lot more to it than that. But Assassin's Creed is a big franchise. Battlefield, big game. Call of Duty is still the biggest game that we have, and this is a new Call of Duty. God knows if you guys remember the horrible Call of Duty 3 port that came out on the PS3 launch, that was pretty crappy. That's what we're used to. This is a brand new Call of Duty that again was built with next gen in mind, and it's going to be ready for launch. Right, that audience is going to be able to carry that right over and have a superior experience, dedicated servers, better graphics, smoother gameplay experience, better social interaction, better experience. Okay, Drive Club and Forza, respectively, those are the racing games. They both look really good, right? Again, I'm just going to sum up the FIFA, Madden, NBA Live, NBA 2K. Again, the key thing here is that, yeah, they're going to be superior experiences, again, for everything I just said, about the social interaction, second screen stuff, enhanced graphics and audio. They're not going to be dramatically, enhanced, but if you guys remember the Xbox 360 launch, the 360 sports games were horrible because Madden 06 literally, they increased the engine, but it had no features. It literally was just like an arcade mode. I'm not even sure it had a season mode. It was just like an exhibition mode, right? It might have had a season mode, but I mean, it had no features at all. It had no owner. It had no franchise. It had nothing else. I don't think it had online play for the first iteration because it was so difficult and just took so much time to just get the engine going that they ran out of time. At least these sports games are fully featured. They're going to have every feature that the current gen versions are going to have, and on top of, like I said, the next gen enhancements. So, sorry, I had a little hiccup with my computer there. Sorry about that. But yeah, so the sports games, are going to be fully featured. They're going to have the enhancements. Again, it's going to be the better place to play. And most of them are not going to be on the PC. NBA 2K has been getting ported, but Madden and Live most likely will not. So again, should be cool. That's all I'm saying. Watch Dogs. I'm gonna call out Watch Dogs because Watch Dogs was just a year ago. Watch Dogs was a game that the industry was just salivating over, right? I mean, it won all kinds of E3 awards. People saw it and was praying that it was on next gen systems. I don't think anyone expected that it would be actually available for launch. So this is a brand new IP from a proven studio in Ubisoft, and it has a really nice hook, open world. It is a big, major game. They've been working on it for what they say for about 4 years. At launch, right? At launch, these are, yes, it's coming out on the Xbox 360 and PS3. And granted, admittedly, we do not have a clear picture from Ubisoft on just how different, or how much better, right, the next gen versions are going to be. We don't really know. But again, I would suspect, again, for all the reasons I said before, that it should be, again, a superior experience on the next-gen systems. Obviously, if you don't plan on getting a next-gen box because you don't fall into that, that hardcore, console owner that wants, that's kind of tired, already had the previous gen systems for a while and want to step up, then you're fine. If you're a recent adopter for console, then you'll get a game like Watch Dogs and just play it. Again, that's it. That's fine. If you are a high-end PC gamer and don't play on console, this is not going to convince you, right? So yeah, you can get Watch Dogs on the PC, right? But again, for those people that want the new box for the full set of experiences and everything it's going to bring, and like the new shiny, console feel at launch, great. And these are, when we get that box in our living room, what are we going to do with it? Well, we're going to play these games. You may not buy it just for these games, but if you buy in a system for maybe the sum of all of these games, or the set of certain games, or again, even just the experience, or just wanting to have the new thing, these are a lot of games that we're going to be able to play on. Killer Instinct. This is a game that people have been asking for 15 years. Microsoft is finally delivering it. I think that's a great thing. I've never been a Killer Instinct fan myself. It's not even about that. But again, just the fact that they are bringing that back and bringing that out at launch, that's commendable. That's cool, right? The idea that we're launching with a Forza, that Microsoft is launching with a Forza, that's one of their major franchises, right? Forza, believe it or not, is not a huge seller. It's nowhere near selling as much as Gran Turismo, but it's critically considered the best racing sim that we have in the industry right now. And they have a brand new, fully featured Forza at launch. In the past, it would have been like a Forza 4 Enhanced Edition type of thing, or Forza Horizon Enhanced Edition. No, they have a full flagship title at launch. Again, that's commendable. Dead Rising 3, right? A proper sequel to a franchise that a lot of people love. I personally love Dead Rising. Dead Rising 1 was one of my fondest and first experiences with the 360. And Dead Rising 2 disappointed. So Dead Rising 3, again, fully developed for next gen. It isn't a port. It isn't like a polished up version of some old game that we played. We're finally getting a sequel to a very fun franchise and beloved franchise. That's cool. That's commendable. And then Rise. Again, Crytek. The technical geniuses. They're putting all their technical prowess into making a very good looking game. But it's a brand new IP. They're taking a chance there. And again, I don't know how the game's going to shape up. We don't know that yet. But again, for a launch game, it sure beats, some of the stuff that we've seen in the past, right? It sure beats, what Genji, all right, for the PlayStation 3 launch. Yes, laugh. If you know what Genji is, please laugh, right? It sure beats stuff like that. So again, diversity is what I talked about, having different genres. We got racing covered, we got fighting covered, we got several open world games, we got new IPs, we got old IPs, we got huge franchises, we got the most popular franchises, arguably, some of the most popular franchises in gaming today is going to have brand new full experiences at launch for these systems. Battlefield, Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, all of the sports games, even Just Dance is on there. Lego, superheroes is on there. Need for Speed Rivals. I'm a big Need for Speed fan, and Need for Speed Rivals looks like the best of Hot Pursuit, some of the best attributes of Most Wanted. I mean, it looks like, a pretty good game. I'm actually looking forward to that. Skylanders, again, the best experience to play Skylanders, So it's, and then we're getting games for free. Let me just reiterate this. We are getting games for free. Resogun is a great looking game that harkens back to Geometry Wars, which held the 360 down for a while, and Super Stardust HD, which, I played that game for like the first year, almost nonstop of me having a PS3. It's the same developers as Super Stardust HD, by the way, if you didn't know that. But that, it's an old school type of arcade shooting, twin stick shooting game. It's a simple game to play. It looks beautiful. It takes advantage of the hardware. It's exclusive to PlayStation 4. And it's free if you already have PlayStation Plus. And if you pre-order, you're already getting PlayStation Plus. So, we're getting a free game there. Then we have all these free-to-play games on Sony especially. Blacklight and War Thunder, PlanetSide 2. PlanetSide 2, that is a huge PC game that's coming to PlayStation 4 at launch. And it's free to play. What is there to complain about? Again, people are saying, oh, well, that's already on the PC. Well, if you wanted to play it on the PC, you would have been playing it already. That's fine. But there's a lot of people that are coming from PlayStation 3 that can't play PlanetSide 2, at least not in any glorious way. They might have a laptop or, but they're not going to be able to play PlanetSide 2 in all the glory that, the high-end PC people are playing. And most of those high-end PC people just need to stop because you guys have already been playing the game. That's great. Right, so, this is not going to convince you to get a PlayStation 4 right now, okay? But that's cool that these games are available for people that will have these systems early on. I still think that's a very good thing. And then there's some indie games. Minecraft is already, again, that's the big deal for PlayStation. You couldn't play Minecraft on any PlayStation device before, so now you got that coming to PlayStation 4 and Vita, and I think. And that's cool. It's kind of been there, done that for a lot of people that already been playing it on various devices. But, it's still cool that it's there. Hohokum, Doki Doki Universe, Counter Spy, Contrast looks really good. So these are, independent games, great, potentially great games. Again, diversity. These games have diversity not only in their design and their graphics in their play style, in their genres, but also in the pricing models, right? Again, I said free to play. Some of these games are digital download that are cheaper. They're not full $60 prices. So again, there's something for everybody. You don't want to spend too much money on games. You're going to have plenty of stuff to already play. You're going to have free to play games. You're going to have games included with your PlayStation Plus membership. On Xbox, in Europe at least, you're going to have FIFA already included. You're going to have Forza included in the UK, I think. Right? So you're going to have games already. You're going to have digital download games that are probably going to be, $30, $20 in some cases. And, those are still going to be cool experiences to play. So, all in all, I'm just saying, they're really, I just, it blows my mind that people can look at these launch lineups and just complain about them. Launch day is one day. We're only going to get more games, and we're only going to get better games as time goes on. We got Infamous coming out in a few months on PlayStation. We got Titanfall coming out early next year on Xbox. We got a ton of indie games that Sony have already announced. I can't even count them all. Rhyme, With the Witness. All of these games are coming out in the next few months after launch. We're going to get a ton more games. On day one, though, the fact that we have, again, big AAA games, open world games, first-person shooter games, flagship exclusive games in Forza and Killzone, new IPs like Rise and Knack on the PlayStation. We got racing covered. We got sports covered. We have all kinds of indie games covered. We got free to play. We got $60 games. I mean, we have a little bit of everything. We got PC games. We got, console exclusive. We got games for kids. We got the Legos. We got the Skylanders. We got Knack. There's something for everyone. So I just don't understand. People we're just way too spoiled. We don't remember the N64 launching with 3 games. Right? And we don't remember the crap like Smuggler's Run and Midnight Club that really wasn't that great on the PlayStation 2 launch. Right? I mean, it's launch day. It's day one, But I think that, both companies have done a much better job in getting a diverse and complete and comprehensive launch lineup, and it's only going to get better from there, but it just boggles my mind that people really, seriously though, it boggles my mind that people can really complain and say that we have a bad launch when in a year where we have new systems coming out that include a brand new iteration into one of the biggest franchises, Assassin's Creed 4. A brand new iteration into one of the biggest franchises, Battlefield. A brand new Call of Duty, the biggest franchise. All of the major sports games covered. A brand new Dead Rising game that finally looks to be a worthy successor. A brand new IP in Rise that looks interesting from one of the most talented technical developers out there. A brand new Forza game at launch. The revival of a fighting game that people have been asking for 15 years in Killer Instinct. Several, over between 5 and 10 free games, free to play games. All of this stuff included in a brand new major IP from Ubisoft and Watch Dogs. Brand new Need for Speed, updated Skylanders, everything right there. Games for kids, digital downloads, cheaper games. We have everything that we've been asking for. And people are still complaining. It's unbelievable. So just try to enjoy these games. Just try to enjoy these launch lineups, man. I mean, personally, I'm already just trying to figure out my finances. I'm going to have probably 10 games at launch, and I'm going to enjoy them. And I could play them on the PS3, but again, I'd rather play them on the PS4. Rather get a feel for that box. I'd rather have that enhanced experience with the controller and with the social features and everything else that's, going to be included in that next-gen experience, which is, again, more than just graphics, frame rate, and resolution. All right? So hopefully, 2 months' time, I'll see you online on the PS4 at least. But either way, you have plenty of things to enjoy, so I hope you guys really do go and enjoy it. All right? I'm done. Till next time.